My child, before anything else, I want you to pause and breathe, not as something automatic, but as something sacred. That breath in your lungs is proof that you are still here, that I am still near, and that something inside of you is still alive. Today, the world celebrates a historical day, a symbol of hope and redemption. But for me, this day is not only about memory. It is a declaration, a call, a whisper to your soul, a holy disruption to everything in you that has been settling, numbing, shrinking. I didn't rise from the grave for a symbol. I got up for you. I know there have been seasons where you felt like something inside you had died, moments when your faith was buried under disappointment, when your joy was stolen by silence, when your hope got crushed under the weight of reality. Maybe you've learned how to live numb, how to walk with your head up while your heart quietly gave up. But I came to tell you, this state of spiritual sleep is not your future. This survival mode is not your identity. I stepped into death so you would never have to live as though you're dying on the inside. And when I got up, everything in you was called to rise with me. You're not reading this by accident. You didn't arrive here out of chance or curiosity. What brought you here wasn't a scroll or a click. It was my spirit. I've been calling to you in the quiet. I've been drawing you, even when you didn't realize it. And right now, in this very moment, I'm confronting what you buried. I'm awakening what you silenced. I'm reminding you that there is still more. This isn't the end. This is the resurrection of everything you thought had no future. You've gone through the motions. You've smiled when you felt broken. You've kept moving, even though something deep inside you slowed to a stop. I saw that. I never looked away. I never called your numbness rebellion. I called it survival. And now I call you back. Not just to feel again, but to live again, to breathe again, to believe again. I didn't stay in the grave, and neither will you. I didn't endure the cross so you would learn how to manage pain without healing. I didn't roll the stone away just to make history. I did it to make space for you to come out too. Out of the guilt, out of the fear, out of the cycle of almost getting better but never fully rising. I didn't come to make you a better version of your broken self. I came to make you new. There's a reason you felt the pull lately, the inner tug that says there's something more, even when you can't name it. That's not emotional. That's not pressure. That's me. That's your soul, hearing the sound of resurrection and realizing it's your name being called. You were not created to stay in the tomb of your disappointment. You were not designed to adjust to emptiness. You were born to rise. And I know you're tired. You've waited a long time. You've carried things no one saw. You've been faithful when no one affirmed you. You've prayed prayers that didn't seem to land. And you've wondered, God, do you still want to use me? Do you still see me? Am I still chosen? Let me answer those questions once and for all. Yes. Yes, I see you. Yes, I chose you. Yes, I still have plans for you. And no, I have never changed my mind. I've been close the whole time, even when you stopped expecting me to show up, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you thought you had failed too much. I didn't come just to redeem the clean, the qualified, the ones who never wavered. I came for the tired, the doubters, the messy, the ones who've been through hell and still whisper, God, if you're there, I want to believe again. I came for you. So today, this Resurrection Sunday, I say this with all the authority of heaven. Get up, not in your own strength, but in mine. Get up, not because the weight has disappeared, but because my spirit is lifting you from beneath it. Get up, not because you feel ready, but because I am calling you out. Come out of the grave of your past. Come out of the shame. Come out of what was never meant to define you. Come out and walk into the life I died to give you. This is not the end of your story. This is not a continuation of defeat. This is the beginning of becoming. And today, I'm not asking you to figure it all out. I'm just asking you to respond, to breathe again, to let your soul answer, yes, I hear you, I'm ready to rise. That's all I need. A whisper of surrender, a flicker of faith. I'll do the rest. I'll restore. I'll rebuild. I'll resurrect. So here it is, your awakening, your resurrection moment, your invitation to live again. The stone is rolled, the grave is empty, and I'm still speaking. I got up so you could rise. My child, I know what you're carrying. Not just the visible weight, the one others see and occasionally comment on, but the quiet one, the hidden heaviness, the inner tug of war between what you believe in your spirit and what you feel in your flesh. The tension between what you've heard about me and what your heart is struggling to reconcile. You've walked through seasons where it felt easier to serve me from a distance than to come close with your whole heart. Not because you didn't want me, but because part of you wasn't sure I still wanted you. But hear me now. I never stopped wanting you. There's nothing about you that surprises me. Not the doubts you've wrestled with in silence, not the choices you regret but still don't talk about, not the anger you've buried under performance, or the exhaustion you've tried to numb with distraction. I see it all, and still, I choose you. Still, I wait. Still, I draw near. I have never been drawn to you because of your strength. I've always been drawn by your honesty, your authenticity, your willingness to bring me the raw, unfiltered parts of your life, even when you don't have the words for them. It's there, in that space between what you show others and what you hide from yourself, that I speak the loudest. You are mine, and you are still wanted. You've heard so many voices trying to define your worth, some subtle, some loud, some even spiritual in tone, but void of my truth. You've been told you need to earn your place in my presence, that you have to be more disciplined, more clean, more pure, more consistent before I can use you again. But I never required perfection to begin with. I didn't wait for Peter to become consistent before I called him to lead. I didn't ask Mary Magdalene to be free of her past before I invited her to follow. I didn't wait for you to be perfect. I came for you while you were still in the middle of the process. I don't call the polished, I call the willing, and I'm calling again. Not with pressure, not with shame, not with performance. I'm calling you back to the place of honest communion, the place where you stop trying to pray perfectly and simply start being with me again. You don't need a script, just a moment, just space. I've missed that part of you, the part that didn't try to impress me, the part that simply believed I loved you even in the middle of your mess. That part is still in you, and I'm reaching for it now, not to remind you of your failure, but to awaken you to how deeply I long to walk with you again. You're not damaged goods. You're not disqualified. You're not too inconsistent for me to use. I've never required your perfection. I've only longed for your surrender. You don't need to fix yourself to come close. It's your closeness to me that begins the real fixing. You've looked for healing in self-improvement, in performance, in control, but what you need is presence. And I'm offering it now, not as a reward for trying harder, but as a gift to the one who is willing to stop running. Come back, not to religion, not to guilt, not to fear. Come back to me, the real me, the one who knows your name and never mispronounces your heart, the one who sees your scars and still calls you beautiful, the one who hears your silence and interprets it as a longing for closeness. I'm not offended by your distance. I understand how life has shaped you to protect your soul, but you don't have to protect yourself from me. I'm the safest place you will ever return to. You were never meant to be strong without me. You were never created to hold it all together on your own. Let me carry, what you've been trying to manage. Let me take the thoughts you can't sort through, the emotions that keep showing up uninvited, the confusion you mask with busyness. You don't need to earn my rest. It's yours. Come, even now. Come into stillness. Come into release. Come into the kind of peace that isn't dependent on everything making sense. You've tried control. Now, try trust. And know, you haven't lost your place. You haven't missed your chance. Even if you feel like your heart isn't fully back yet, your hunger is enough. That small flicker inside of you, the one that clicked this message, that read this far, that hasn't given up completely, that flicker is faith. And I can breathe on faith as small as a whisper. Let me start there. Let me meet you where you are, not where you think you're supposed to be. You've always been worthy of love, not because you earned it, but because I am love. And I don't give love in pieces. I give it completely, freely, relentlessly. That hasn't changed. Even if you walked away, even if you went silent, even if you thought I stopped listening, I never turned my face. I've been right here every step, waiting for this moment of return. Not so I can lecture you, but so I can restore you. Not so I can remind you of what you did wrong, but so I can remind you of who you've always been in me. So now breathe. Let the weight start to lift. Let the pressure drop. Let the fear that says, I'm not enough, melt in the presence of truth. I got up so you could rise. And now, I'm calling you, gently, fully, completely, back to me. My child, I want to talk to you about the pain. Not just the surface wounds, not the things you've learned to mention in passing or joke about to avoid the sting. I mean the real pain, the parts of your life where you prayed and I seemed silent. The chapters you don't bring up anymore. The long nights where you begged for relief but felt like your voice was echoing in an empty room. You've done a beautiful job surviving. You've stayed standing through storms that should have buried you. But I don't want you to just survive anymore. I want to show you what all of that pain was doing and why I never left. You've asked me, even if only in the corners of your thoughts, why did you let that happen? Why didn't you stop it? And though I never rejoice in your suffering, I need you to understand, not one moment of it was wasted. I don't cause all things, but I work through all things. Pain is a terrible teacher when you're alone, but you were never alone. I was there, even when I seemed distant. I was doing something far deeper than what your eyes could see. You thought the silence meant absence, but it meant surgery. I was cutting away the parts of your identity that were never meant to remain. And sometimes, the only way to heal what's hidden is to let it be exposed. Some of the deepest wounds you carry weren't even from what happened. They came from what those moments whispered to you about yourself. The betrayal said you were unwanted. The silence said you were forgotten. The delay said you weren't chosen. But none of that came from my voice. I never agreed with those lies, and now I'm coming to tear them down. Because your pain was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. Not because I needed you to suffer, but because I wanted you to see me clearly through the fire. You thought it was punishment. You thought the closed doors were rejections. But I was protecting you. You didn't know what I was guarding you from. You didn't see the road ahead, but I did. I saw what would have broken you if it came too soon. I saw the people whose approval you craved, but who couldn't carry your calling. I saw the versions of success you prayed for, and I knew they'd slowly pull you away from the very place I designed for you to flourish. So, I allowed the delay. I allowed the silence. Not to break you, but to build something in you that would last. There are some lessons only learned in the dark. There is a kind of maturity that doesn't come from books or sermons or even miracles. It comes from pain, from persistence, From the quiet faith that keeps showing up, even when the heavens feel closed. That's what I've been shaping in you. Not a shallow kind of faith that disappears in disappointment, but a rooted faith. One that knows I'm good, even when I'm quiet. One that chooses to stay near, even when I seem far. One that refuses to let go just because the process is uncomfortable. And child, you passed that test. Even when you doubted, you stayed. Even when you questioned, you kept talking to me. Even if the words were angry, or tear-filled, or barely formed, that counts more than you know. I never needed your strength. I never asked for perfection. I only asked that you don't run away, and you didn't. You're still here. And that, to me, is worship. That is victory. That is beauty. What you carry now is different. You may not feel it yet, but your heart has been recalibrated. Your ears have been trained to listen deeper. Your eyes are starting to see beyond the surface. This is the fruit of pain, not just endurance, but discernment. And it will serve you in the conversations ahead, in the decisions you're about to make, in the people you will soon encounter who carry the same wounds you've survived. You will not just be healed, you will be a healing presence to others. Because resurrection isn't just about you getting up, it's about bringing others with you. I let it hurt, so I could show you what real healing looks like. Not the kind that hides behind false strength, but the kind that stands whole and honest, with scars that speak of grace. You don't have to be afraid of remembering. You don't have to erase your history. I'm going to use it. I'm going to turn it into a well others can draw from. I'm going to make your past a platform, not to glorify the pain, but to reveal the glory that came from it. Let this be the moment you stop resenting the process. Let this be the day you look back at the long road and see purpose written in the dirt behind you. I've been writing this with care. You haven't been lost. You've been led. Every detour, every delay, every unanswered prayer, I was in it. And now, the same voice that let you walk through the valley is the voice that's calling you out. The same hand that allowed the pruning is the hand lifting you to the surface. I'm not done. The pain was not the end. It was preparation for resurrection life. So lift your head, not in denial of what you walked through, but in honor of what I've done in you through it. You are not the same. You are not fragile. You are not who you were before the pain. And the strength in you now is not self-made. It's spirit-formed. And that kind of strength will carry you into the fulfillment of every promise I made. My child, now that you've let me into the pain, now that you've allowed me to speak to the places you once tried to forget, I want to begin showing you what's been happening in the silence. You've walked through your own Friday. You've waited in your Saturday, but now it's Sunday in your story. And I want you to understand something clearly. Resurrection is not just a historical event. It's a present reality, and it has already started moving in your life. You may not have noticed yet, because you've been trained to look for signs in big moments, in obvious breakthroughs, in doors that swing open with noise and light. But I do some of my greatest work in stillness. I build in shadows. I unfold destiny in layers. What you call nothing happening has actually been the precise unfolding of my plan. I never stopped moving. You just stopped recognizing the form. Look again, what has shifted? That conversation you thought was casual, I was in it. That random message you received at just the right moment, that was me speaking through someone who didn't even know why they reached out. That dream you couldn't shake, that scripture you kept hearing from different directions, that inner sense that something's about to change. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. The signs are already there. Not dramatic, but divine. Not loud, but deeply alive. I need you to become more sensitive again, not to emotion, but to alignment. I'm aligning people, timelines, relationships, and opportunities around you. You're about to walk into moments where everything will click into place, and it will seem sudden on the surface. But I want you to know, nothing about it is sudden to me. I've been orchestrating this all along. Do you remember what I promised? Maybe you've buried it. Maybe time and disappointment made you shelve the word I gave you, but I didn't forget. My promises are not fragile. They don't weaken when the wait gets long. They don't dissolve in delay. They are still alive, still active, still backed by the full authority of heaven. And now that I've done the work in your heart, you're finally ready to receive what I've always intended to give, not as a bandage, but as fulfillment. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to prove to you that I'm faithful to my word. There are doors opening in this season. Some you've prayed for, others you never expected. But when they open, don't question your worth. Don't sabotage the blessing because of past wounds. You are not the person you were when the door last closed. This time, you'll walk through it differently, with wisdom, with confidence, with peace. You'll stop explaining yourself. You'll stop shrinking to be palatable. You'll carry yourself like someone who knows this was promised and you were made for it. But I also need you to listen. Not every open door is mine, and not every delay is the enemy. This is why you must stay sensitive. Let my peace be your compass. Let stillness be your confirmation. I'm not going to lead you through pressure. I'm going to lead you through presence. And when my presence rests on something, it won't feel like striving. It will feel like ease, clarity, joy, even if it comes with resistance on the outside. I'm also bringing divine reconnections. Some relationships will come back into your life, not as a return to the past, but as a fulfillment of what I began long ago. Others will fade, and that too will be my mercy. Don't grieve what I remove. Don't chase what I release. Trust me. I see what you don't. I hear conversations you're not in. I know motives that are hidden. I'm not being cruel. I'm being careful. Because what I'm about to place in your hands requires a protected environment. I'm not just thinking of your comfort. I'm thinking of your calling. And yes, there are surprises ahead. Things you stopped believing for because it hurt too much to hope. I saw you close those doors in your heart. I saw you tell yourself it was better not to expect. But I never stopped expecting. I held those promises in place even when you stopped praying about them. And now, I'm reactivating them. You don't need to force it. Just stay open. I'll show you when. I'll show you how. But know this. Some of the things you let die will live again. And this time, they will live fully. This is not just the season of answered prayer. It is the season of surprising fulfillment. Fulfillment that feels too personal to explain. Fulfillment that brings tears before words. Fulfillment that speaks louder than your testimony. I'm going to show you that I saw every detail, that I was listening even when you went quiet, that nothing was wasted, and that resurrection is not a metaphor in your life. It's your reality. So stay near, stay soft, watch for me in the details. I will not send lightning. I will send moments, and those moments will change everything. You've stepped into the season where the grave no longer has power over your process. You're not coming out in pieces. You're coming out with purpose. You're not just alive, you're aligned. Now get ready. What I've prepared is already on its way to meet you. My child, resurrection is not a feeling. It's a way of life. It is not meant to be a moment you visit emotionally and then drift from slowly. It is meant to become your rhythm, your response, your foundation. I did not raise you just to stir your spirit for a day. I raised you so you would walk different, think different, respond different. This is not a call to try harder. It is an invitation to live from what I've already done. You have stepped into a new place, but if you carry the old mindset, the old pace, and the old habits, you'll miss the fruit of what I've unlocked. So now, let me show you how to live resurrected, how to wake up and recognize that my spirit isn't something you seek occasionally. It's something you carry. You are now a dwelling place, and how you live from that reality will shape your next season. Start with your mornings, not as a duty, but as a holy opportunity. When your eyes open, choose me first. Not your phone, not the world, not the weight of the day. Pause and breathe me in. Whisper my name. Invite my presence to lead before anything else starts to speak. This doesn't have to be long. It just needs to be real. That first moment of surrender creates space for clarity, for awareness, for alignment. That's how you live resurrected. You begin with me. Let my word return to its rightful place in your life, not as a religious obligation, but as a lifeline. You've eaten from too many voices for too long. Now is the time to recalibrate your spirit, to feast again on what is eternal. Don't rush it. Don't treat it like a task. Open it slowly. Read until something breathes. Sit with it. Carry it. Let it interrupt your assumptions. Let it correct, comfort, and recalibrate you. My word isn't just information, it's interaction. It's where I speak. And when you stay in it daily, you'll find your discernment sharpen, your peace return, and your confidence grow. Prayer must now become your atmosphere, not just your emergency plan. Talk to me constantly. When anxiety rises, don't analyze it. Bring it to me. When joy surprises you, pause and thank me. When confusion clouds your thoughts, ask for wisdom, and then wait. I will speak. Not always in language, sometimes in clarity, sometimes in direction, sometimes in the lifting of pressure or the arrival of peace. But I will never go silent if you stay open. I'm asking you to be intentional with your attention. In this resurrection season, you must guard what shapes your inner world, not out of fear, but out of focus. You cannot carry resurrection and chaos in the same atmosphere. Monitor what you listen to. Be mindful of the conversations you entertain. Be careful with the voices you allow to influence your sense of identity, purpose, and worth. If it robs your peace, it's not from me. If it inflames your pride or triggers comparison, it's not food for your soul. You are not created to stay spiritually full while emotionally scattered. Let me train your hunger again. Choose presence over performance. I'm not looking for you to be impressive. I'm looking for you to be present. That's where my spirit moves. In the mundane, in the quiet, in the consistent. Do not despise the ordinary. That's where roots go deep. That's where your inner world becomes strong enough to hold what I'm giving you. You don't need to be dramatic to be deep. You just need to stay connected. And I will meet you in ways that feel less like noise and more like knowing. Obedience in this season must be quick. Don't wait until you feel spiritual to do what I ask. If I prompt you, trust me. If I nudge you to speak, speak. If I tell you to forgive, forgive. If I ask you to release something, do it fully. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. And you're not in the wilderness anymore. You're stepping into fulfillment. But the gates open with trust, and your trust will be tested not in public, but in the private places, and how you treat people, and how you steward your time, and how you honor my voice even when no one is watching. Stay connected to community. You were resurrected, not only for yourself, but for others. I've placed people around you for a reason. Some to pour into you, some for you to pour into. Don't isolate. Don't withhold. Don't pretend. Let yourself be known again. That's how you'll grow. Resurrection is deeply personal, but never private. Let others see your journey, not your perfection, but your transformation. That's how my glory multiplies. You are also going to be asked to lead in small ways. Don't wait for a title or permission. I will use your voice in conversations you didn't plan. I will speak through your compassion, your testimony, your listening ear. Stay alert. You are my vessel now. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be available. And when I move through you, you'll feel it. The same power that raised me will flow, quiet and strong, through your words, your presence, your obedience. This is how resurrection becomes your rhythm. Through simplicity, through surrender, through awareness. Every day. Not perfect, but present. Not striving, but staying. Not controlling, but trusting. The tomb is behind you now. You're walking in a new kind of life. One that doesn't just exist, but listens, breathes, and reflects the one who got up so you could rise. My child, there is something I want to settle in you now. Not with theory, not with theology, but with truth that becomes the framework of how you live, breathe, speak, and move forward from this moment. I want to speak to your identity, because resurrection isn't just about motion. It's about recognition. It's about you seeing yourself again through my eyes, not through the distortion of pain, delay, disappointment, or comparison. You've let too many seasons name you, too many wounds label you, too many other people define you. And I need to tell you, with clarity and authority, you are not who those things said you were. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You are not disqualified. You are not invisible. And you are not a disappointment. I know those words have tried to carve themselves into your identity, sometimes spoken out loud, sometimes internalized through years of silence and self-doubt. But none of them came from me. I have never once looked at you and regretted what I created. I have never once changed my mind about the purpose I placed inside you, and I am not about to start now. I want you to see what I see when I look at you. I see courage, even when all you see is fear. I see perseverance, even when you call it exhaustion. I see tenderness, not weakness. I see sensitivity, not instability. I see someone who kept walking when everything inside them wanted to quit. I see someone who let me touch the parts of their life that most people avoid. I see someone who doesn't realize how powerful their yes really is. Because every time you choose to show up again, to hope again, to trust again, you are moving mountains in the spirit whether you feel it or not. You're not who you were, and you're not supposed to be. You've been through fire. You've walked through wilderness. And what came off of you in those places needed to fall, not because you were a failure, but because I was refining the gold. The version of you that I'm raising up now is clearer, truer, bolder, not arrogant, not performative, just aligned with me, with who you really are, with the way you were formed to carry my presence and walk with quiet authority. And it's time you stop apologizing for that version of you. You've played small for too long. You've diminished your voice to stay acceptable in rooms I never called you to shrink into. You've second-guessed what I've already confirmed. Not because you're unsure of me, but because you've been unsure of yourself. But child, I didn't resurrect you to go back into hiding. I didn't pour out my spirit on your life so you could keep whispering your way through calling. This is the season where I teach you to own what I placed in you. Not with pride, but with peace. Not with hype, but with holy weight. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to be everywhere to be effective. You don't need to chase attention to be anointed. You just need to remember who you are and stay close to the one who defines you. That's where the oil flows. That's where the wisdom grows. That's where your identity stays rooted and your vision stays clear. You've tried to earn belonging, but you already have it. You've tried to prove you're worth keeping, but I never once considered letting you go. My love doesn't waver based on your performance. My favor doesn't disappear when you're tired. I don't walk out when you question. I stay, and I whisper the same thing over and over until your spirit finally accepts it. You are mine, and I don't regret it. I know what you carry. I know the private struggles. I know the unspoken burdens. I know how you smile while still carrying fragments. And still, I see you as whole, not because you fixed yourself, but because I've called you righteous. Because I see the end from the beginning. Because I see the purpose burning under the rubble, and I know exactly how to bring it out in time. So stop looking at yourself through a broken lens. Stop measuring your worth by how fast you've healed or how much fruit you can prove. I'm not using you because you're perfect. I'm using you because you're willing. I'm not calling you based on a resume. I'm calling you based on relationship. And from where I stand, you're not behind. You're right on time. I've made sure of it. From this moment forward, I want you to walk differently. You don't have to explain your process. You don't have to convince anyone of your growth. Just live it. Let your peace speak. Let your fruit reveal what I've done. Let your stillness carry weight. The ones I raise from the grave don't return with the same voice. They return with clarity, compassion, and conviction. And you're ready now. Not perfect, but ready. So wear your name again. The one I gave you before the world tried to rename you. Wear the identity of beloved, of chosen, of covered, of called. Stop trying to fit old molds that were never made for your purpose. You're not who you were. You are who I say you are. And that truth is louder than any past. You are not just someone I saved. You are someone I send. And I'm sending you now, rooted in who you are, confident in who I am, and ready to live like someone who knows. I got up so you could rise. And now you know who you are. My child, now that you know who you are, now that I've reminded you of what's inside you, I want to show you how to protect it. Because resurrection is not a finish line. It's a beginning. I didn't raise you so you could return to the same rhythm that drained you. I didn't restore you so you could repeat the same cycles that buried you. I brought you back to life so you could live differently, so you could walk daily in a deeper kind of connection, a quieter confidence, a spirit-led rhythm that keeps you from drifting and keeps your heart aligned with mine. This is not about performance. I'm not calling you to a life of striving. I'm not giving you a checklist. I'm showing you how to stay close, because what I've awakened in you needs protection. What I've planted needs cultivation. The world around you will always move fast. People will always demand more than your soul can carry. But I'm not asking you to keep pace with the world. I'm asking you to walk in step with me. And that begins with presence. Give me your first breath every morning. Before the demands of the day take over, before your mind starts replaying conversations or planning outcomes, stop. Be still. Acknowledge me, even just for a moment. Say my name. Welcome me into the center of your day. You don't need to have all the right words. Your honesty is enough. Your stillness is worship. That first moment you give me each morning becomes the anchor for your decisions, your thoughts, your peace. Start there, and you'll notice the difference. Let my word return to the center of your attention. You've let too many other voices shape your perspective, voices that sound smart, even spiritual, but don't carry my breath. My word is not outdated. It's not theory, it's alive. It still speaks directly. Open it without pressure. Read slowly. Listen as you read. Ask me to highlight what matters for today. Don't aim to conquer chapters. Aim to receive life. One verse that breathes into your spirit will do more than 10 pages you rush through in distraction. I want to meet you there, every day, in that quiet space where my truth has room to settle into you like seed into soil. Keep prayer simple, real, present. I'm not looking for eloquence, I'm looking for communion. Talk to me as you go, in the car, in the hallway, in the kitchen. Let your spirit stay open. I will speak in ways that surprise you. Through thoughts you know didn't come from you. Through sudden clarity. Through a peace that overrides your anxiety. That's me. Learn to recognize the sound of my presence again. It's not always loud, but it's unmistakably mine. Be intentional about your inner world. In this new season, you must learn to guard the garden of your soul. Some environments may seem harmless but carry subtle toxins. Some conversations may appear neutral but slowly distort your focus. Ask me to show you what pollutes your peace. Ask me to train your sensitivity. You are not being called to fear culture. You are being called to stay free from compromise. The more clearly you hear me, the quicker you'll recognize what doesn't belong. Let worship be your anchor, not just on Sunday, not just when the music is right, but as a lifestyle. Worship when you feel grateful. Worship when you feel heavy. Worship when there are no words left. There's something about lifting me high even when you feel low. It realigns your heart. It opens space for me to pour in fresh oil. You don't worship because everything makes sense. You worship because I am still worthy. And when your heart learns to do that, your spirit becomes unshakable. Rest too is part of resurrection. You are not meant to live burned out and depleted, running on spiritual fumes. I created rhythm, not just for the world, but for you. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. When you choose rest, you say to your soul, God is in control, not me. Let me lead your pace. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to pause without fear. When you rest in me, you recover what the world drains. Obedience will keep you aligned, and it must be practiced quickly. I will prompt you in subtle ways. A text to send, a word to speak, a moment to step back, a call to forgive. These small responses matter more than you think. They train your spirit to stay open. They prepare you for the greater steps ahead. When you ignore them, your heart hardens slowly. But when you obey quickly, your discernment sharpens. And in this season, sharp discernment will be your greatest weapon. Surround yourself with people who protect your growth. You don't need a crowd, you need connection. People who know how to remind you of what I said when your emotions forget. People who carry me in the way they speak, the way they listen, the way they love. And if you don't have that yet, ask me. I will send the right ones, not perfect ones, aligned ones. You weren't created to walk this resurrection alone. Above all, stay near. Don't wait until you feel desperate. Don't wait until you're drowning. Don't wait until another crash happens. Stay close now. Keep your heart soft. Keep your ears open. Keep your hands willing. This is what it looks like to live resurrected. Not just breathing, but abiding. Not just alive, but in rhythm with the one who raised you. My child, hear me clearly now. The time you've been praying for is already beginning. The shift you've waited on, the answer you stopped talking about, the release you wondered if you missed, it's already in motion. This is not just a transition. It is a divine unveiling. I am not preparing to move. I am moving, not later. Now what I placed inside of you is ready. And what's been happening in your spirit, the discomfort, the unusual sensitivity, the inner tension, it's the sign that heaven has already shifted around you, and your life is about to catch up to what I've already spoken. You've been in process for longer than you expected. You've obeyed without applause. You've grown roots in silence. You've served while still healing. And though you've carried the weight of waiting with grace, I want you to know the waiting is coming to an end. The doors are opening. The alignment is happening. The very things that felt delayed are now catching divine wind. You thought I was holding you back, but I was holding you in place until the foundations could sustain what I'm about to release. And now, I say to you, get ready to walk through what I prepared when you thought I was quiet. There will be moments soon that feel sudden, a call you weren't expecting, a conversation that shifts something, a door that opens before you can explain why. But don't be surprised. This is not sudden to me. These are the moments I've orchestrated for such a time as this. This is why I allowed the fire. This is why I pulled you back when others moved ahead. This is why I allowed certain relationships to fall away. Why some doors stayed closed. Why some seasons felt like isolation. I was protecting the anointing. I was preserving the purity. I was guarding the oil. And now, you are ready. Not because you're perfect, but because your posture has been tested and proven. I am placing new weight on your voice, not volume. Weight. People will feel the spirit behind your words, even when you speak quietly. There will be authority in your presence, not because of your personality, but because of your obedience. I will use your yes in rooms where others relied on influence. I will open doors, not because you campaigned for them, but because your character can carry what's on the other side. You will not have to push. What is from me will recognize you. What is assigned to you will find you, and it will come with peace. But listen carefully, not everything that comes is for you. This season will require wisdom. Every opportunity is not a divine one. Every invitation is not a green light. You must stay close to my voice. Let peace be your confirmation. Let discernment lead. I will not speak through pressure or anxiety. I will guide you through clarity and stillness. There is no striving in my presence. There is no panic in my will. If you have to force it, it's not me. And I will give you peace even in uncomfortable transitions. There will be a stretching, but it will not destroy you. There will be unfamiliar territory, but you will not be lost. I will be with you in every step. I will confirm your direction. I will cover your blind spots. And when you feel unqualified, I will remind you. You didn't call yourself, I called you. You are stepping into fulfillment, not just of personal dreams, but of divine design. What you carry is needed. What I placed in you will answer cries you haven't even heard yet. This next season is not just about breakthrough, it's about impact. And yes, the enemy sees it. That's why the warfare intensified before this word reached you. That's why your thoughts were louder, your emotions were fragile, your old patterns tried to resurface, but now you see it for what it was. A last attempt to keep you stuck at the edge of your own resurrection. But he lost. You're here. You're alive. You're listening. And you're ready. And what I'm about to do in your life cannot be stopped. Because it didn't begin with you, it began with me. And what I start, I finish. You're going to be surprised by what begins to move. Things that felt heavy will become light. Conversations you feared will unfold with grace. Ideas you shelved will come alive again. Relationships will be restored. Provision will come without manipulation. Vision will expand. You'll sense my breath on the things you almost buried. Because I'm not done resurrecting the rest of what's in you. This wasn't just about you surviving. This was about you rising into fullness. So walk with expectation, not hype, holy expectation. Eyes open, spirit alert, heart soft. I'm about to show you why I said not yet for so long. I'm about to show you what I was building while you were in the dark. The oil is about to flow. The timing is aligned. The path is ready. The light is green. My beloved, now that I've spoken, now that the word has stirred and the shift has begun, I want you to stop striving. Breathe. This is not a moment for movement. This is a moment for encounter. You've heard me. You've received. Now let me come closer, let me go deeper. Not to teach, not to instruct, but to transform. This is where I move not just around you, but in you. This is not another revelation. It is relationship unfolding in real time. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't need the right words, the perfect posture, the right song in the background. I'm not waiting for your performance. I'm waiting for your permission. Just open. Just allow. Just be present. I know how long you've been carrying weight. I know how much of your heart you've managed quietly. I know how you've compartmentalized your pain and functioned through your fatigue. And I honor how strong you've been, but this is the place where strength is no longer required. This is the place where my spirit begins to carry what you were never meant to hold. Let me into the places you've kept hidden, not because you didn't want me there, but because they've hurt for so long, you forgot what they felt like. Let me touch the fear, the insecurity, the guilt that still whispers from the corners of your soul. I'm not afraid of your mess. I'm not shocked by what you've buried. I've seen it all and still said, I want to live here. I've chosen your heart as my home, and now I'm rearranging everything that doesn't belong. Not with force, but with presence. Right now, my spirit is already moving through you. You might not be able to describe it. That's okay. The deepest work I do rarely has words. You may feel warmth, stillness, a weight, or even a release you didn't expect. Don't analyze it. Don't try to measure it, just receive it. This is where the breath of God fills what once felt hollow. This is where your nervous system starts to relax, where your jaw unclenches, where your chest opens up, where the tension you've carried in your shoulders for months begins to lift. Not because the circumstances are gone, but because I have taken the weight out of them. This is what I meant when I said, my burden is light. You've been carrying versions of yourself I never gave you, expectations I never placed on you, labels you were never supposed to wear, but now, my spirit is peeling them off one by one. With every moment you sit in my presence, I am not just refreshing you, I am reforming you. I'm rebuilding your interior world so you can carry more peace, more power, more of me, without collapsing under it. Let me cleanse your memory. Let me remove the emotional residue of the pain, not erasing your story, but healing the way your soul holds it. I don't want you to just survive your testimony. I want you to walk in freedom from it. I'm touching the trauma gently but with finality. What once owned you will no longer speak with authority over your identity. My voice is louder now, my presence is stronger, and my spirit is enough. And not only am I healing, I'm filling you again with my breath, my fire, my joy. You haven't felt joy in a long time, not the kind that bubbles up without explanation. You've felt peace in passing, but not joy that settles in and stays. But that's what I'm releasing now. Not circumstantial happiness, but eternal joy. A joy that lifts your head. A joy that resets your tone. A joy that strengthens your spirit and lets you finally rest again. Fully, completely, without apology. I'm awakening your spiritual senses again. You will begin to feel things more deeply, not as a burden, but as discernment. You will sense shifts in a room. Hear me in between the lines of conversations. Know things before they're spoken. That's not you being emotional. That's me increasing your sensitivity to my spirit. You're not imagining it. You're responding. That is maturity. That is awareness. That is presence in motion. You're not just being filled for yourself. You're being filled so you can overflow. This world doesn't need more information. It needs more carriers of my spirit. And that's what you're becoming. Someone whose shadow carries peace. Someone whose voice calms storms. Someone who speaks life without needing a stage. You are my vessel. not because you've earned it, but because you've yielded. And now, I will pour through you. Let me make this clear. This is who you really are. The version of you in my presence is the real one. The version that doesn't need to prove, perform, or pretend. The version that is whole, quiet, soft, and still. This is your home now. This is your baseline. And when you feel yourself drift, don't panic. Just come back here. I'll still be waiting. I never leave. My spirit doesn't visit you. He lives in you. And he is your source of peace, your guide in confusion, your rest in exhaustion, your voice in silence, and your fire in stillness. This encounter is not the end of the message. This is the message. You didn't need more explanation. You needed me. And now, I've come. Stay with me. Breathe. Let me finish what I've started. I'm not rushing. I'm not finished. This is where transformation begins. Not by force, but by fullness. My child, everything I've spoken to you, everything I've poured into you, everything I've healed and awakened and brought back to life, I now place in your hands, not as something fragile, not as something you have to protect through fear, but as something alive, something holy, something that was born not just for you to experience, but for you to carry. You are not the same. And that's not a metaphor, that's not emotional language, that's the truth of heaven over your life. The old has passed. The tomb is behind you. You are no longer surviving a season. You are stewarding resurrection. You don't have to explain it to others. Just walk in it. Let them see it in your eyes. Let them feel it in your peace. Let them encounter it in your tone, your stillness, your love. You are proof that I still raise people up. There will be moments when you're tempted to go back to old rhythms, old habits, old narratives that kept you small. But hear me, you are no longer a resident of that grave. What I did in you is real. And now you must walk forward as one who knows they've risen, not with arrogance, with awareness, not with performance, with presence. You don't have to rush. You just have to keep walking, one step at a time, fully aware of who you carry and who you are. You are marked now, not by pain, not by shame, not by fear, but by glory, quiet glory, weighty glory, the kind that comes from resurrection, the kind that speaks louder than your words ever could. You are not called to be impressive. You are called to be aligned. You are not called to be perfect. You are called to be present. And I will go with you into every room, every moment, every future step. You don't need to fear the unknown anymore. You don't need to over-prepare for what's next. You just need to stay near to me. Stay open. Stay surrendered. You've seen what I do in silence. Now let me show you what I do in movement. I will guide you. I will establish you. I will confirm what I've whispered in ways that only I can. The people meant to walk with you will find you. The doors meant to open will respond to my hand. Your part is simple. Abide. And yes, others will notice the change. And no, not all of them will understand it. That's okay. You weren't called to be understood. You were called to be faithful. Let me handle the rest. Don't lower your light to stay in comfortable spaces. Don't shrink to maintain peace with what I've already called you out of. You are rising now, and you must rise fully, without apology, without delay. So here it is. Your resurrection is not a private moment. It's a holy calling, and I'm sending you now, not far, just forward. Walk into your future like someone who's been held by me in the dark. Speak like someone who knows what silence really feels like. Love like someone who has nothing left to prove. You are free. You are filled. You are mine. This is only the beginning. Amen. Now carry this, let it live in your breath. Let it shape your steps. And when you rise tomorrow, Rise like someone who knows why I got up. If this word marked you, share it with someone still in their tomb. Let your resurrection lead theirs. Stay near. Stay soft. Stay ready. I'm not done speaking. I never will be.